Hello everyone and now welcome. What's going on? Alright, there you go. I'm just like, no, wait, the peasants aren't moving. The goggles, they do nothing. Okay. Sorry, for those of you guys who know, sometimes when the map doesn't line up with the actual game, the game will start and then nothing moves. So that would be a really, really big disappointment in trying to end what is really a best of 5 series, but because one of the games I am unable to watch, this has now become a best of 3 series, and we are now all tied up at 1 game apiece. So winner take all in this final game here, as it is on Secret Valley. Lucifer spawning as the blue undead on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, on the bottom left, we have Yumiko spawning as the pink human. Human versus undead once more, as we are looking to go perhaps into another Mountain King opening. Yumiko has been using that Mountain King pretty regularly, but we'll see if he tries to change it up for an Archmage. Archmage much more common on Secret Valley, as the Archmage doesn't really have the ability to pick up a very, very easy Troll Shadow Priest. Generally, the Mountain King with that Troll Shadow Priest is a very strong opening, as it does allow you to abolish magic, it allows you to get some heal in, and you also get that extra little bit of piercing damage from that Troll Berserker. Without that unit, you really need those water elementals early on to try and effectively creep out the map. We are going to see an Acolyte now make its way over, and the Acolyte is just slowly pushing himself forward here. Perhaps he's looking for some sort of critter on the map to do a little bit of damage and make some skeletons. Meanwhile, a Footman is out here as well. He does spot the Acolyte, and now the Footman is going after this Acolyte with a vengeance. However, that Acolyte, pretty beefy, should be fine, and you can see that Acolyte is just dancing around here, taking a little bit of damage without really doing much of anything else. We also have 2 Null Assassins on the field, and what's important about the Null Assassins is that the Null Assassins will not hang on to one specific target. Unlike, say, the Null Wardens, the Null Assassins want to spread out their poison attacks very well, and are very, very effective. Perhaps some of the best micro that you will ever see, purposely trying to change things up and making sure that their damage over time is affecting more than one unit at a time. Skeletal minions take a little bit of damage there, spawning right in front of the Null Brute and the Null Warrior, or the Null there, as the Footman still giving chase. Archmage now coming back around, and it looks like though the Skeletal minions will be backing off. There's some easy damage onto the Skeleton Warriors now, as the Warriors are now on the run. Rod of Necromancy had really changed things up in the Frozen Throne, allowing for just better creep advantage for the Death Knight. It is rather expensive at 200 gold, but it allows the Death Knight to pretty much just move out with the Death Knight by himself. The ghouls are still back in base harvesting lumber, and then we may even see a graveyard come in to start training up some Crypt Fiends. That is one of the benefits there, as the first Crypt Fiend is already out on the map. So far, this game is opening up like pretty much any game in WarCraft 3, with a little bit of harassing, a little bit of creeping, and then just trying to do those small things that eventually will make a very big difference. Taking down units, being able to get extra experience, all of those things add up a lot towards the late game. The harassment potential in trying to invade mineral lines, this was something that Blizzard had originally not wanted to see in WarCraft 3 by focusing more of army versus army combat. I believe a lot of people say that because there's less of an economy, each unit is much more important here, as we are going to see an Ogre Warrior get taken down. The Water Elemental may even get taken down as well. Are we going to see a Death Coil coming in from there, as the Skeletal Minions and all these units are just currently chasing around? It looks like a Skeletal Minion a Water Elemental will get taken down here. There's a lot of low hit point units coming around here, as the Militia are still fighting back all of those Skeletal Warriors. Very nicely done, as you can see another Skeletal Warrior gets taken down here. Archmage may be under the cover of an arcane tower momentarily. That is going to be built very, very quickly. There is a town hall as well, as the Archmage now runs off to the north. Now, what's interesting also about WarCraft 3 is I think WarCraft 3 originally was designed to be an RTS that is supposed to be played at a very, very high competitive level only. It just didn't catch on nearly as much as StarCraft 2 did in Korea because of the, many would say, the slower pace of the game overall. Anyways, let me just get off of my soapbox here and get back into the game as the Death Knight still wanders around. So far, the Crypt Fiends are getting in some easy shots. There's a Death Coil, but the Death Knight still sitting at level 1. Meanwhile, the Archmage is getting awfully close to level 2. This is a big point to have, but we are already getting into the Lich here. The Slaughterhouse is being placed down. We should be getting in Obsidian statues. And once those Obsidian statues are out on the field, the Undead army is pretty much complete at that point. The Obsidian statue perhaps right behind the Death Knight and the heroes in terms of hero balance. Once you have that one unit, it adds so much to the strength in terms of just healing, staying power, and also spell power for those Death Knights and those Lich to launch off more spells. Being able to have Essence of Mana very important there, as we are now looking at Lucifer finally sitting at level 2 with a Mantle of Intelligence. Meanwhile, Yumiko doing a great job here. He's going to be able to level up very quickly, already sitting at level 3 even before the Red Drake gets taken down. And you can see that the Archmage is just running around here. 2 Water Elementals poking apart at this one Red Drake here. You can see that the Water Elemental is doing a very good job just regenerating those hit points and taking down that Red Drake. Meanwhile, you can see that the Archmage is going to be in a little bit of a dangerous situation. Does have a Staff of Teleportation. Going to teleport all the way back with the rest of his army. Pick up the Scourge Bow Chimes. No, the Death Knight gets it instead. And that is a huge item. Wow, that, I believe Scourge Bow Chimes is a 200 gold item. And with it on the Death Knight, it doesn't really do all that much since there is an army of Crypt Fiends. And a lot of the units are ranged, but importantly though, the Archmage is unable to give regeneration aura to the Footmen. The Footmen now will not be able to regenerate at least 1 to 2 hit points per attack, which is important in any long fight. Coming back around, you can see that the Death Knight is looking to come in here. There is a quick ensnare onto that Crypt Fiend. There goes another Troll Trapper as the Death Knight slowly making its way to level 3. Water Elemental is coming around, going to try to do a little bit of poking here, getting some damage onto that Crypt Fiend, but it will just end up feeding more experience to that Death Knight, as you can now see the Footmen are making their way over. There is a huge Frost Nova landing across multiple units here. That's going to be bad news, as Yumiko loses another Footman. Archmage now needs to regroup with the rest of his army. That's the problem. When the Archmage has Boots of Speed, rest of the Footmen do get left in the dust, so to speak, as they are now trying to run away from that Death Knight. Death Knight still sitting at level 2 though, does have Potion of Greater Mana and also a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Alright, Yumiko needs to go back, lick his wounds, and perhaps make something happen. He is now setting up more farms all across, more farms trying to get up to 50 supply and then stay there for as long as possible. The problem, the Crypt Fiends and the rest of these units here are going to be making their way over. You can see that that Water Elemental taking a bit of damage, and that Water Elemental will fall, giving almost level 3 to that Death Knight, as the Death Knight will clear out this orange creep camp here. Level 3 for the Death Knight easily. Almost level 3 for the Lich, I believe, unless, well, the Lich looks like he's actually going to get very close to level 3, as the Forest Troll Berserker is giving him plenty of experience while the Death Knight is away. Alright, Panda is now out. Oh, this could be potentially bad. There is another Death Coil Steel item has been picked up. It is a Scroll of the Beast. You got to be careful, though, trying to get any of those items onto, or using any of those items against an Undead, since Devour magic from Destroyers is always potentially a problem. Crypt Fiend now coming in. You can see a beautiful Death Coil coming in from the Death Knight once more. There's a nice Frost Nova, and this is just causing problems. It really feels like Lucifer is just playing the better game of poking down individual units. The problem is that Yumiko does have an economic advantage here, and you are going to see, oh, this one skeletal minion will get taken down, but the army of Yumiko is now on the wrong side of the map, as the Death Knight may try and intercept the rest of the army. Essence of Mana needs to be coming in, as the Death Knight, already low on mana, does have a potion of greater mana, but he would like to refrain from using that until, say, he hits level 5. Death Knight now coming back around. You can see the Obsidian statue going to be taking a little bit of damage there. There's a breath of fire, but is it really going to matter? The Obsidian statue trying to get away. Meanwhile, on the bottom side here, another footman bites the dust, as the Lich is already sitting at 350 mana and counting. Water Elemental tries to make its way in. We should be getting Destroyer form here, and the Undead army is going to be extremely strong. There's a breath of fire. However, the Obsidian statue now back on Blight with Acolytes for repairing will keep that alive. Archmage now on the move, on the run. Water Elementals trying to make their way back to that Obsidian statue. Is it going to be enough? The two Water Elementals need to push their way forward. Unable to get there. That is going to be potentially a problem, as the footmen are trying to take down this Obsidian statue, and Yumiko is just over-committing to try and take down this one Obsidian statue earlier. If the two Water Elementals had gotten there in time, perhaps that would have been a good commitment, but now losing footmen, losing Water Elementals, giving the Death Knight almost level 4. Wow, 7 experience away from level 4. That is a problem. Now that your hero advantage is gone, Yumiko, how are you going to be following this up? Yumiko now sitting with a level 1 Panda. It looks as though, yes, another Null or another Murloc will get taken down here. Units are still running all across. Archmage sells that Scroll of the Beast, realizing I can't use it when my opponent is already researching or has researched Destroyer form. No real way to check this, but I do have an inkling that Destroyer form has been completed, as the Crypt Fiends are now pushing their way through. This is going to be a problem, though. The Crypt Fiends, Destroyers, Death Knight, and Lich all do reduced damage. But what is this? The Pit Lord going to come in instead and now use Rain of Fire to try and take down all of these units here. The Peasants now in a little bit of trouble. The Pit Lord, very, very strong here. In the words of Bunny, the Pit Lord is so cute, just wandering around here doing Rain of Fire once again, and all of these towers may actually get destroyed. This is not looking good at all. Lucifer just coming in very strong here. The Panda does have a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, but does not want to use it. There is some slow now, as the Destroyers should be popping up into the sky. Once they start devouring that magic, everything is going to be going from bad to worse. But Yumiko also showing a whole bunch of flying machines. Crypt Fiends are falling, but I believe they fell at the hands of a tower. That means that they are not going to be doing, not going to be giving any experience, as now the Spellbreakers have to be careful. Scroll of Healing quickly used there to try and save more units. The Pit Lord taking a bit of damage, and now Militia being called over. One Crypt Fiend falls. Level 4 now on the Archmage. Level 2 Brilliance Aura. So both sides are still fighting this through. Spellbreakers now continuing this push as well. The Flying Machines are there. The Crypt Fiends are down as well, as both sides are taking terrible, terrible damage. But it really feels like Lucifer is going to be able to out-sustain without that Arcane Vault. And the fact that there is 6 Flying Machines without any Destroyers, the Crypt Fiends, and the rest of this army is just having a field day. Pit Lord now sitting at level 2. We could be getting up another Rain of Fire. Are we going to be seeing that? No, he is just trying to run on in, as the Spellbreakers are getting off some easy shots. All right, Crypt Fiends, they could get burned down here. Oh, there is a beautiful Death Coil. There is a reveal there, as we are now still fighting. Or is that a Dust of Appearance? That was a Dust of Appearance, as the Panda now using a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. This fight lasting much, much longer than I would have expected. The Pit Lord still fighting his way through, and the Spellbreakers are being forced to pull back. Here we go. Up next, the Spellbreakers now trying to push their way in. And what is going to be happening here? The Pit Lord here just taking a lot of damage, but still now coming in with another Rain of Fire. You can see a little bit of damage over time on them, on top of the damage that they get for standing into that position. All right, Pit Lord still charging on in, and that Pit Lord wandering around, still doing a lot of damage here. The Death Knight still in position, and what is happening as the Water Elementals are now pushing their way forward. The Death Knight taking a little bit of damage here. You can see another rain of fire coming in. Multiple peasants are going to get taken down. There goes another one there. And just so much blood in that whole entire mineral patch as this fight is still going strong. All right, the obsidian statues, 3 of them just constantly healing up the rest of the army. Yumiko really needs a way to focus fire any single unit, and without that focus fire, the obsidian statues are just keeping everything alive. Pitlord now down to 200 and some odd hit points. A quick death coil quickly changes that, as the death coil does heal 400, bringing it back up. Death coil, as we now see another frost nova there. It looks like Lucifer still hanging strong on this game, still in dominant control. He knows that he cannot go into destroyers, not quite yet, as the water elementals are right there. So water elementals and flying machines, you know, more units are still pushing their way through the crypt fiends. Such a strong front line. There's another breath of fire, but it doesn't really matter, as the Death Knight is just leading this army so well. Panda now tries to run on in. It does have a little bit of mana. You can see not that much healing going on. There are a handful of priests, 2 of them, but with so many low hit point spell breakers, it's not really working out. The flying machines perhaps should be getting bombs now, as we're now even seeing an abomination joining in on this fight here. All right, let's see what's going to be happening next. The Lich taking a little bit of damage. The Death Knight now out of mana, so now would be the time to go after the heroes. The flying machines now going after the destroyers, as the first destroyer is finally out on the field. However, all the flying machines finally getting those webs off and able to just or getting webbed down, as we now see a level 2 Pit Lord has been taken down. Panda, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability used at just the right moment in order to get away. The flying machine is going to take down another destroyer. It doesn't look like it. The web is just simply too strong here, as the abomination is chasing after the rest of the units. Okay, the flying machine's trying to go after the destroyer. The destroyer does get taken down, as the Death Knight now hits level 5. Archmage still hitting at level 4. The Panda is regenerating hit points, as we now see an obsidian statue falling. All right, somehow fighting away from the towers is actually helping Yumiko. And as all these units are falling here, there goes the obsidian statue. So all the obsidian statues and destroyers have been removed. The Panda now going to be rejoining up with the rest of this fight here, teleporting back down to the south. And the Panda now has to be very, very careful, as he is separated from the rest of the army. All right, let's come back in here. The flying machines have nothing to really take down. No bombs to land either, as the Panda now comes in back, ready to join in on this fight. The Spellbreakers trying to focus down those Crypt Fiends, and the Crypt Fiend now benefiting ever so barely. All right, it looks like an abomination will get taken down. There it goes. And with that, Yumiko, 52 over 78 supply compared to 50 over 70. Lucifer now in trouble himself. He is trying to rebuild his army and get back into this game. It looked like everything was going so well for Lucifer for so long, and then the cards hit the table, so to speak. You saw what was coming up, and everything just fell apart. All right. Flying machines, Archmage, Spellbreakers, Sorceress, all of this now making their way in. Flying machines now being brought over as well. Pit Lord comes in and now trying to get to level 3. Level 2 Rain of Fire would be extremely powerful at this point. Frost Nova coming in and now sacrificing even more skeletons. That Lich staying near on maximum mana, but we could have a bit of a creepjack here. The timing on this is not going to be too bad, as many of the units are not that low on hit points. The ghouls are now running away. No, they're rejoining in on that fight, and that does mean that there are some low hit point units for free experience. All right, let's go continue to fight this out here. Both sides are fighting. It looks like a couple of low hit point ghouls could get taken down. What is going on here? The Sorceress trying to dance around here, and Yumiko is not set up. He has no line, and Lucifer is once again in a very favorable position, as he is already set up, ready to go. Crypt Fiends in the front, and now the Obsidian statues in the back. Dust of Appearance on that Panda, but it may not matter. Oh, Rain of Fire right onto the top of that Panda there, and that may be the end. The Death Knight sitting at level 5, Pit Lord sitting at 3, and the Lich sitting at 5, working together. Very strong army, and I think that Yumiko just overestimated his chances. He fought so hard to get back even, only to end up catching his opponent creepjacking a red creep camp, but doing it a bit too late. We are going to see the Pit Lord now, Rain of Fire once again. that entire peasant line will get taken down in just a moment. You can see that damage over time. Yes, the damage over time from Rain of Fire can actually kill a unit. There's the GG by Yumiko as Lucifer takes this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.